What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MyTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and this is Thelma, the Unicorn. This is currently available on Netflix. It has audio description done by International Digital Center, written by Liz Gutman, and voiced by Tristan Snyder. Don't worry, guys. Tristan's getting work. um, this stars Brittany Howard, Will Forte, Jermaine Clement, um, uh, I don't know, Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Shaw, John Heater. I don't know, like there's a bunch of like voice talent like downstream from this, but it's basically Brittany. Like there's a star at the top who plays Thelma the Unicorn and goes on this journey. It's an animated feature directed by Jared Hess, who is the director of Napoleon Dynamite. So, what's it like? Why don't you click that subscribe button and I'll tell you. I'll tell you after you click the subscribe button. You gotta click the subscribe button. Thelma would want you to. Anyway, it's not as bonkers as I would think. I mean, looking at the stuff that Jared Hess has done, coming out of Napoleon Dynamite and doing like Nacho Libre, and Gentlemen Broncos and stuff like that. It's just, you feel like you're headed in a direction, and then Thelma the Unicorn just kind of feels like any movie, any kid's movie, that could have been directed by anybody, could have been produced by any studio. It feels like something I've seen before. It has a theme that we've seen before. I feel like it definitely missed out on the opportunity for Megan the Stallion. Like, you have Thelma the Unicorn and Megan the Stallion is not Thelma I mean, like, what is happening here? Like, I loved Britney and I thought she did great work, but I didn't know who the cast was, and I was like, this has to be Megan the Stallion. Like, why would you not? Like, that would be the first thing that I would go to. I mean, she's been in movies. She was just in Dick's the Musical last year. So, um, why would you not go after that talent for this? And then it's just an actress who's been in like Silver Linings Playbook and everything. Cool. Anyway, um, so, because I clicked on her, I was like, well, maybe that's her real name, and they're not putting Megan Thee Stallion. No, that's not. This is a real actress. Okay. Yeah. So they're animals, and they uh, Thelma wants to. She's a pony and has dreams of performing at Sparkle Palooza. It's like anyway, Will Forte is her animal friend, and they have like a band, and she tries to audition so that she can perform at Sparkle Palooza, but she's just too basic, and the judges are like, no, it's just not happening for you. She didn't even get to sing. Nobody ever gets to hear her voice. She's ordinary, too ordinary for them. There's nothing about her. She's not a star. She doesn't have it. So she goes off and mopes. And for whatever reason, Will Forte's character is also into tabletop games and has created his own version of Dungeons and Dragons. It's called Dungeons and something else. And he keeps trying to like explain it to her. And in there, he's created this character, Thelma the Unicorn, that's like a level 300 character, and she's like, well, why can't I be this? And nobody, you have to level up to be that. And it's this game that he just created, right? And eventually we get to the point where she, through chance of fate, gets to be a unicorn, and suddenly everybody's obsessed, and she has fans, and suddenly everybody wants to hear her, and she finds a manager, played by Jermaine Clement, who takes her to the next level, but it causes her to sort of leave her friends behind, including Will Forte, And we've seen that before in movies where, you're faced with, well, I can go to the next level, but my friends, I have to leave them behind in order to do so. The struggle is real. And of course, she has to get to the next level and realize that not, realize what's really important in life so that she can make that transformation back and just be who she and stop pretending and just be who she is and realize that being who she is enough. And that is what this movie is. Without spoilers, I'm just thematically telling you, if you want your kids to watch it, that's the message of this movie. I know that I feel like people last year, Netflix put out a gay night movie, and maybe people are looking at it going, oh, there's a unicorn movie. Are they trying to trap our kids? Are they trying to deep? No, no, this is not that. This is not that film, guys. She just happens to want to be a unicorn because unicorns are special and unique, and there aren't that many of them. That's her thing. Plus, she's a horse, so like logically, the next thing that she would want to be would be a unicorn. So, it's just fine. It's a just fine movie that your kids will watch and never remember that they watched it. It's something that they'll put on and they'll watch it and they'll be like, yeah, I watched it. We used to have films like this back in the day as kids. They were like non-Disney titles and they would just kind of like come and go. And like Troll in Central Park. You never hear anybody talk about that. There's a whole bunch of people, pretty much everybody on YouTube looks like they're in my age bracket. There isn't a single person out there that's going like, oh man, I really hated those Disney cartoons, but that Troll in Central Park movie, that was so good. It was so good, guys. I really loved Pebble and the Penguin, you know. So we had these like other movies. It just kind of feels like it's another movie, like it's another kids movie. And now that because we have streaming, when you are another kids movie, you don't get to go to theaters. Instead, you go to Netflix or whatever appropriate streaming service has you attached. So this is where this is. It's just kind of weird because it has actually like the kind of voice talent that would normally send a movie to theaters. So the voice talent is really good. Although I hated Jermaine Clement. I don't know what he's doing with his voice here, but I hated it. I hated his song. I hated his voice. I hated him the whole movie. I just kept wanting to throw things at him. I was like, I don't know, like, again, because I watched this, because Netflix was like, oh, it's the new movie. And I was like, I watched the new movie. I do that. I watched some really random shit without ever knowing what it's about. And I watched it. It's easy to pick up on Will Forte's voice, but I was like, I don't know who this is, but I hate their voice. Find out it's Jermaine Clement, and I'm like, I stand by it. I don't know what he's doing to his voice, but it sounds terrible. So yeah, you can enjoy his awful song, his awful villain song. It's atrocious. The rest of the songs in here are written to be like pop songs because Thelma's like singing them, and she's like a pop artist. So, but his song is just, it's like where songs go to die. It's like just slightly above Scuttlebutt from last year's Little Mermaid. It's just, yeah, it's 1 point above that is this villain song that he has to sing. I think he did the crowd in Moana, right? It's like slightly below that, but above Scuttlebutt. Slightly below the crab song in Moana, but slightly above Scuttlebutt. That's where the song lies. Yeah, it's this is not a good song, and I didn't like his voice work, so couldn't be alone in that, but whatever. The audio description here, I really like Tristan Snyder on this. I didn't know it was Tristan Snyder because the Tristan Snyder that I have like in my head is from having seen him or listening to him do The Good Doctor for a while until he got replaced with a guy that has he's very lethargic. I just, he's the lack of energy, but Tristan had energy in him, and he brings his energy to a kids movie, and it's great. Tristan has totally found his thing. I mean, I was like, man, this dude is killing it. I don't know who this narrator is, but this is fantastic for like great narration for kids stuff. So Tristan has found a wheelhouse that he needs to explore more, and people need to explore it with him. So please hire Tristan more in this genre, because I thought he was delightful. I think your kids will think he's delightful. It's a very playful voice, and he actually in many ways makes the movie better because of the way that he's doing it. Obviously, like if you're an adult and whatever, and you like your narration to be flatter, I would say don't watch kids movies then, because this is obviously aimed at kids. So it's not one of those movies with constant like wink wink nudge nudge adult humor jokes either. It's pretty much aimed at kids. It's not like a little kid thing. We're not all the way down into Paw Patrol world. We're just a level above that. It's not Paw Patrol yet. But so check it out. Don't check it out, but let your kids watch it, because there's nothing wrong here. They'll learn to accept their friends, or accept themselves for who they are, or something. I don't know. That's one of those two things will happen. But it's a quick hour and a half of their life, and it'll keep them busy, I guess. Maybe. I'm gonna give Thelma the Unicorn a B minus. It's the same grade I gave Tiger's Apprentice. I feel like they're both sort of like fine, inconsequential animated features from this year. So, anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will go ahead and review something else and see you guys on the other side.